Tim O'Malley with Tim Priester after Notre Dame's practice number 6 of training camp. The first time we saw them in pads, and Tim, you focused on the offense today. It's the defense wins championships, but who stood out to you today on that side of the field?
Well, first of all, Brian Kelly depicted Brandon Wimbush's day as guns a-blazing. I'm not sure that I would put it quite in that category, but I thought he had a good day. We put everything he does under a microscope, and when he throws a couple wobbly passes, everybody's running to the exits to inform the masses. But I thought he threw the ball really well, including right from the very outset when he had a deep ball to Miles Boykin, and Boykin had a few yards on Julian Love, and Boykin dropped it. But, I mean, Boykin's a quality player and works his butt off and ultimately ended up having a pretty good day. But Brandon Wimbush, I thought, threw the ball very well. So did Ian Book. We saw very little of Phil Jerkovic. In fact, really nothing live. All of that was tempo, third team early, and then quarterback drills. So, you can tell that it's not the first day of camp anymore because you're getting a little bit closer to the season and they have to prepare, obviously, the top two quarterbacks.
Well, it's not the first day of camp because on the first day of camp, Nick Coleman was not what he was today.
Unbelievable.
And he wasn't that way for Brian Kelly or the staff. Brian Kelly mentioned that Nick Coleman has had, I don't know if it was the best offseason, but he has responded to his offseason the best. And today he walked out there with the ones. I thought that was a little strange until we watched him play all day long, undercutting passes. He's quarterback in the secondary. Look, Kelly mentioned, hey, he has always been a workout warrior. I'm not sure we really knew that other than his speed that we hear about a lot. He admitted he is now translating it to the practice field. I mean, we're going to have some trepidation on that until we see him make plays, but it's good, as you mentioned, post-practice, when your senior safety starts making plays.
Yeah, I mean, he's the guy with the experience. That's who you wanted to step forward. And just for the record, it was he and Alohi Gilman that were lined up, so Jalen Elliott was working with number 2s. I want to say that in Priester's Thursday Thoughts, I pretty much declared Nick Coleman a nickel back and not a factor at safety, but I didn't realize what had happened the last few days. So no, I think that's a fantastic thing. That's what you want. That's the guy that got 13 starts back there last year, and I think everybody can feel pretty good about him and Alohi Gilman teaming up. You didn't see as much of Houston Griffith back there, though, today.
No, Griffith started out with the second unit when they just kind of come up with the skeleton crews, but he did not rep with the second unit much. It was pretty heavily Jalen Elliott and Devin Studstill, the juniors. Now, that could mean many things. It could mean Houston Griffith pulled up a little lame and we didn't see it at some point. He kind of disappeared from the reps. Derek Allen did get some third-team reps, but they're rotating a lot. Bo Bauer was not the second-team Mike in skeleton drills, and he was the second-team Mike in all 11-11 action. So you can't really take a snapshot at some of these practices and say, boy, Griffith really fell out of favor. He might just not have been fully responding to practice number 6 and out there today. But one guy I really wanted to watch was Ade Ogundeji, because I still feel like he is one of those backstories where, look, we think Khalid Kareem's going to be good at defensive end, but if Ogundeji's not, then you start feeling that loss of Jay Hayes, the senior, the fifth-year guy that should be helping out. And I thought it was intriguing that Brian Kelly said he goes in there and thrashes, and he is strong and relentless. That's what you need from a second stringer.
Yeah, on the offensive side of the ball, very impressed with Jafar Armstrong, which I have been for a long time. But I mean, here's a guy that he's a running back. Him and Avery Davis are running backs, and we've kind of looked at Avery Davis as the guy that's converted from quarterback, and maybe he gets 4 or 6 touches. I think we're kind of underestimating him a little bit. But jumping back to Armstrong, I mean, Armstrong is built to get 12 or 14 touches per game. He was really, really effective, and we really haven't seen him run between the tackles in live competition and whether he can lower his pads. When he's running wide, he's running upright like a receiver probably would, but he was really effective in the slot today. I think he caught 4 passes during 11-on-11 stuff, and I think they have versatility there. Tony Jones Jr. said he probably ran a 4.66 last year at 230 pounds. He's now in the 218-pound range and under 4.6, but they need a little bit more dash back there. Dexter Williams, for the record, got some reps, but it's obvious that he is not going to be in the mix at least for the first 4 games of the season. I would imagine that that's a 4-game suspension.
And just watching Armstrong, you say he runs like a wide receiver. He still catches like a wide receiver.
He really does.
It's a weapon because people forget that was kind of what separated Theo Riddick in their best season using a slot receiver, as he was a running back that moved to that spot. I think they're developing some depth at the skill position. Now, as you said, we got to see him run through contact. You got to practice number 20, he might not look quite as quick when he's taking shots to the knees, even though Brian Kelly mentioned, hey, Jafar Armstrong is off the charts in his ability to bounce back from one practice to another. That's I don't think I would have ever guessed that he was that much of a physical specimen, because that's what you need at running back. You're not going to be healthy as the season goes on.
He can handle a big workload, and so that's a great sign. I do want to mention a couple other. Chase Claypool again continues to look. Julian Love said Chase Claypool can be the best receiver in the country. That might be an exaggeration, but we see that skill set all the time, and he's outstanding. And I want to mention a guy that you mentioned last week, Lawrence Keys III, the freshman. Brian Kelly said we need to stick an anvil in his back pocket because he's so light, but he's a kid that's getting a ton of reps and continues to make plays in the slot.
He's omnipresent. Every time you look up, Lawrence Keys is doing something, 7-on-7, 11-on-11. That's probably more for the future because he's so light, but there's a lot of good youth coming up through the program, and I think Kelly referenced it when Pete Sampson asked him, hey, is it 45 to 85? This is your deepest? He goes, no, 65 to 85. This is the deepest. We can't have that proven probably until next year. But it's a good sign what we've seen so far.
Well, he mentioned 1 to 85 today being such a great roster. Last guy I want to mention, Liam Eichenberg. I tried to focus on him a little bit more because the coaching staff continues to talk very positively about him. That is a big, strong, fundamentally sound, bends at the knees, and is aggressive. What I was impressed with him today is he doesn't let the action get taken to him. He's the aggressor. I think that's why they like him at left tackle.
That is it. After practice number 6, we'll be here for practice number 8. And as always, practice reports, interviews with Brian Kelly and players on IrishIllustrated.com.